Welcome to the Rach and Bella show. No, I'm just kidding. Just taking a moment here to connect and breathe as we let some people hop on and join us. I decided to invite Bella to, hey G, welcome. I decided to invite Bella to join me for this empowerment session because she is a beautiful, close sister, friend, and community member of mine, and she happened to be in Tel Aviv staying with me last night before I log on for this session. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Power of Community. This is Bella, a community member of mine, and I invited her to join me for this session because, well, besides the fact that she is a member of my community, both online and in the world, she also lives in a community. So I thought how cool that we can represent different ways of living and being in community, because there's so many different forms. Like, for example, the Goddess Temple is an online virtual community. You know, any sort of activities group we belong to, maybe it's like a swimming group or going to a gym, like depending on how it's organized, what's the intention, like anything can really be a community. And she actually lives in one, so I wanted to invite her to share some of her wisdom from living in a community, like the daily life and what's that like. But for me, for today, my intention for sharing this from my heart is because this community, the Goddess Temple, has brought so much empowerment and love and healing into my life, into Georgia and Ashley's life, into, you know, it's been rippling out into the world. This is what we hear and feel and see. And we decided recently to create a form, a Google form, to basically poll our community. Like, what is it that's really the women of this group are longing to hear, are longing to learn about? Like, what can we really provide in terms of programming and content that will really serve and meet women where they're at? Because this is not just, you know, about us and what we think is important. This is really about how can we serve? How can we serve? And that means really tuning in and being with the needs and the desires of the community. So we're striving to build a community-based platform, which means we want to hear you. We want to hear your voice, and you have a place here. That's why we're doing these empowered life sessions, and you can see how many amazing women are just showing up and bringing their wisdom and their gifts and their passion. And every single woman, every single human, but let's just focus here in this community, every single woman has so much to offer and so much that we can all learn from and all gain. And I really feel that's the power of the circle. When we come together and we each have a place to share, we see how much we can learn from each unique expression. And everyone is unique, everyone is different, everyone has their place, every voice is valued. And within that, we all learn, we all gain more medicine. And this movement of circling with women, I truly believe it's a return to ancient ritual, which has been forgotten because we've been living in a patriarchal man's world for so long, which has basically set us, you know, driving forward towards this future. Every person is working hard and very independent and self-sourced in how they're supposed to show up in the world. And when we come together as women, we're basically like it's an opportunity to repattern these belief systems and say like, hey, we don't need to do everything alone. And when we're together, we're so much more powerful, we're nourished, and therefore we can actually get further forward in the future that we want to create, because we're sharing a vision and every person is valued and it's not one against the other. I'm more important, my ideas are the best. Like, it's not working anymore. So that's what we're striving to create here at the Goddess Temple, is really valuing every voice. Hey, Steph. And seeing how much creation and empowerment can come from that. So I think that's basically the intro for me at this point. But I would love to pass the mic to Bella and ask you what it's like to live in community and how that's been healing you and what you want to share with women.
Hi everyone. And I think what's coming up for me right now is that there's a lot of resistance to living in community in our modern time, because when you live in a community, you're constantly surrounded by your own triggers. When you're constantly with people who are around you, who are striving to also grow themselves, but also help you reach your highest self, there's a constant meeting face to face with reflections of every part of you. And some of these reflections are really beautiful, but some of these reflections are just triggering and challenging. And in this time when we are just emerging from a period of solitude, we might actually find ourselves in community again, facing those triggers that maybe we forgot about for a long time because we had no one to reflect them back to us. And so the power of community is not only to help us amplify our light and help us really find our power and find our truth, especially in this goddess temple, this community of women, so supportive of each other, so much sisterhood. But there's also so much power in allowing our sisters and our community to reflect back the parts of us maybe we don't want to see so much. Maybe we hide from when we are not looking in the mirrors of each other. And so for me, the power and healing of community comes from the amplification of the light, and also the bringing up and the shining a light on the darkness, on the traumas that we see in each other as a form of growth. And I really feel like we can only do that together. There's some things we can only do together.
Oh, so beautifully said. So true. That we really need each other as reflections to see the parts of ourselves that we can't see on our own.
Yes.
And if we take these triggers as an opportunity to heal and bring us closer together instead of separating, like that's the work.
Yeah.
That's where the real magic is.
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to share the 5 T's. Trust the trigger to teach. And lean into it. Because I can say for myself, I've been through so many breakthroughs recently by being surrounded by powerful people who truly inspire me and also scare me because I see their light, I see their wisdom, I see things in them that I don't have and I doubt myself. But I've been learning to communicate through that, to find inspiration instead of closing myself off, to lean in and show them I'm interested and I love you and like this is what comes up for me, and let them see me in that. And then it brings us closer, and so much closer than if I were just to stay away like I'm afraid or I'm whatever it is, like just being aware of that inner movement and leaning into it and seeing what magic comes there. What else? You said some amazing things.
Thank you. What else about community? I think that's something that also might be challenging is that we find ourselves by choices maybe not of our own in communities that we don't so much resonate with. Maybe we're in a workplace where we are surrounded by a group of people, we're surrounded by a community, and maybe we don't always see ourselves in those people. Maybe we don't always see ourselves wanting to be with those people. You know, a family is a community. Maybe not all of us are so in connection with our family. Maybe we're seeing parts of our family that are not so beautiful. And so another element of community is learning to find the communities where we feel super safe, and also learning how to navigate in communities where maybe we don't feel so safe and don't feel so comfortable. So if you're in a community right now that is not necessarily the one that you chose, or maybe it is one you chose but you're struggling with it a little bit, maybe it's no longer accurate for you but it's struggling to be released, first of all, I see you. You're very seen. All of us have communities that we don't feel we can fully be ourselves. And let's use this community where we can come and be ourselves, where we can express ourselves, to share with each other how we can bring more of authenticity into other communities in a way that is loving and non-judgmental, and really allows us to remember that we are all one, and in every community there's beauty, in every community there's hope.
Hope.
Yeah.
Hope. For me, I'm I'm feeling inspired about this idea that all of the women in the world, but all the women in this group, we're all reflections of the one great goddess. So if we can really allow ourselves to see the beauty in every woman and the wisdom, like that just reflects our inner beauty and our inner wisdom, and it just continues to grow. Like, competition doesn't need to exist anymore.
It's just resources.
Let's see a competition as resources to grow and to get better and to collaborate. And this is the future we're building as women, as feminine, as empowered feminine leaders. We're breaking down the patriarchy, and we're seeing that we're so much stronger when we come together. And I'm literally getting chills now as I'm sharing this, because I know this is like my life's work, our life's work, and we're healing ourselves from these patriarchal values that told us we need to compete, we need to be the best, we need to do it alone, we need to prove to ourselves we can be the successful one of our life, and it's not working. We exhaust ourselves. We can get so much farther when we're together. And I'm seeing that so much with the collaboration here with Georgia and Ashley. Like, none of us would be able to create this amazing platform and reach so many women's lives if we did it alone. It's just going to keep growing and keep getting better. So we really want to hear your voice. Fill out the form. I will post it in here after. And we have a few more sharings.
Yeah. I have something that just came to me about also acknowledging, even in communities like this one, even in communities where I feel super safe, making space for those to join our community who maybe don't have the resources and the background and the privileges that we do. And so on my mind a lot, and in a session 2 days ago about acknowledging racism, acknowledging systems of oppression. Let's be the people in our own communities that look around the room and say, who's missing? Who can we bring in? How can we lift up the voices of our sisters who maybe are in the corner of the room but haven't been given a center stage? How can we use our privilege in our community and the power that we have as women to bring more women into our fold and to center them and to spotlight them? Specifically women of color, women of backgrounds that are not as privileged as other women. That's something that's been on my mind a lot. And I know in my personal communities, I don't see such a diversity. So what can I do to place myself in communities that allow me to confront my own privilege, my own limitations, and also what can we do to make our communities more inclusive?
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Someone wrote a comment here I want to read. Annalena. Learning to spot your tribe. I believe it requires first knowing yourself and being yourself unapologetically so they can spot you as well. And I really believe that, but I also believe sometimes we need that tribe where we feel it's safe to be fully ourselves. It comes together. Sometimes it's not one before the other. And you said something else really beautiful I wanted to comment on about finding those places where we feel safe. And even when we find the communities that feel safe, still those triggers will come. And how can we still show up in circle and allow our darkness to be seen and experience that we are safe and we are still loved even when we're not just our shiny, bright version of ourselves.
Yes.
Like showing up to circle anyways, no matter how you feel. So powerful. Here. So that's a little taste of us for now. We both have some exciting offerings that we wanted to share with you at the ashram Bamidbar, which is where you live.
Yes. So both of us are actually leading weekend workshops one week after another at the ashram in the desert, Ashram Bamidbar, in the Negev of Israel. From July 9th to July 11th, I'm leading a workshop called Journey Through the Chakras. Woo! It's going to be a full immersive weekend, learning to identify where in our physical, emotional, energetic body we are holding energy that can be moved, and really gaining tools and resources way beyond the weekend to work with what we are, work with who we are, and just bring more joy, simplicity, and stability into our lives.
Oh, so empowering to have that inner awareness and know how to actually work with it.
Yeah, and I can also post the link here. And Rachel, what are you
Please
doing
do.
the week after?
Please do. The weekend after, if you can come to both, we would love to have
Just
you.
stay,
I'm
just
like,
stay.
maybe I'll go live at the ashram for a week and a half so I can do both. I am leading a journey the weekend after, July 16th through the 18th, called Our Temple Bodies. And it's a guided journey for women to connect to our sensual expression and our aliveness, which is, it's not about being seen as sexy for anyone else or acting or doing anything. It's really about being connected to this sense of inner aliveness and what feels good in the moment. We're going to do some breath work and a lot of dancing and some sharing circles, and with this intention of connecting to ourselves as women, that's where we actually create more connection as a community and see, other women as our sisters and as these beautiful mirrors. So this is really the intention for the journey, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be at the ashram, which is where so much of my journey has happened.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
And Bella is going to be there assisting.
Yes.
And this is just another example that competition doesn't exist, like we're both doing workshops and we can both share about them and trust that whoever is coming and it's accurate.
So if you're looking for somewhere to find your tribe, I think both of these weekends are going to be just the beginning of beautiful connections, beautiful community, and beautiful relationships. And we'd love to see you there, and love to see you also at these sessions and posting comments if you have any thoughts or questions about anything we shared, about your perspective on community.
Yeah, let's keep the conversation going.
Yes.
Oh, love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, for inviting me. Thank you. Have an amazing day, everyone.
Have an amazing day. And I'm going to post the form in the comments. Fill out the Google form so we can hear your voice. How can we serve you better here in the Goddess